Okay, so I have a Mitsubishi Montero Sports 98, and my AC was picking up the smells from the street, even though the flaps were closed so that the air inside the cabin would recycle. Every time I would drive by a place with lots of smoke or any other odors, they would still come in the cabin. So I started looking up and digging up about replacing the air cabin AC filter. Turns out that my car model doesn't have one. It doesn't. It's not fitted. So what I did was I took this stuff apart, and these flaps are supposed to open and close. When they're in the closed position, the air inside the cabin comes through the sides and recycles. When you open the flaps, then the air from the street comes through here. Um, so these flaps, they have a urethane tape, which is spongy, and since it was so old, car's about 18 years old now, then that spongy 20 years actually, that spongy tape was just it when you touched it, it turned into dust. That's what happens when it's so old, and so that needs to be replaced. These flaps are fitted with that tape on both sides so that when it closes here, then the air from the street won't come in. It also has some tape, spongy tape around here, which I am also going to have to replace. So this is how they work. They're supposed to lock here, but as you can see, oh, I don't know if you can see in there, but all the way in the bottom, on the sides right there, there's a gap. And also, if you can see there, they're supposed to be closed, but there's still a gap. So with that tape, it's going to seal better on the sides here and on the middle here, where it's supposed to seal. So I need to replace that tape right here on the bottom of the flaps and on the top of the flaps as well. So I took this off. It was not easy because I was supposed to take off the whole dash, but I didn't want to do that. So after I removed it, I washed it. Now it's drying up with the sun. This goes here, and inside there, this part fits. So it's supposed to fit somehow like this. Yep. But as you can see, it's rusted there. So I'm gonna have to sand that off, put a little spray paint to prevent it from getting completely rusted out. So that's gonna happen too, and I'll show you what I had to do to take that off. That's my Chevy Love. It's rusted out. This is another project. Alright. So here are all the bolts in order. As I was taking them off, I was putting them in order. My airbag had exploded once. As I opened this door, I reached to turn on the ignition key and boom, it exploded on my face because I opened the door from the passenger side. Broke the windshield, threw me all the way in the back there, burned my neck and arm. It was crazy. Sent an email to the Mitsubishi, never got a reply because it just exploded as I turned the ignition key. Not even to turn the car on, but to roll down the windows because it was so hot. I wanted to vent it out. before I get in. But anyways, going back to that, so since the airbag was already popped, it was easy for me to get in there. This is the airbag. Right here. So since it sits right in there, since it was already popped, this thing would lift up. So anyways, I removed this, which made it a lot easier to work in there. If your airbag's still intact, you're gonna have to disconnect your battery, and before you disconnect the airbag, which is this red clip right there, which connects to there. Okay, so I also had to remove the glove compartment. It has these little plastic flaps on the sides that you can remove so that it's easier to take off. They fit like this, so you just lift this up and it'll come up. You only need to do it on one side, but if you want to do it on both, that's okay too. After removing this and the airbag, then I have a little bit more space to work in removing the bolts. That white plastic round thing that you saw that I was cleaning up with the flaps goes right here, and the air, turn on this light. These are great, by the way, waterproof. They can charge your phone or any USB. It's got this USB port, you can charge stuff. 1000 lumens. Alright, so there is where that white plastic piece connects. That's where the air from the street comes in. This connects to that mechanism, which is this one. So if you want air from the street, you go here and then the flaps open. If you go here, that recycles the air in the cabin, and that's what my problem was that when I put the recycle air setting, then smoke from the street would still come in, and that was because that urethane tape was all messed up. It was toasted. As you can see, I'm gonna put some urethane tape on here too, which is actually, it also goes on the plastic. I'll just put double just to make it extra airtight. Then this is where that white piece also connects. This is where the evaporator is, and for some reason it's supposed to have a filter here. I saw a video where a guy from Germany, he removed this rectangular plastic thing which doesn't come off. You have to like punch it and cut it with a knife, and then he removed this and he installed, I think it was 2 filters. I'm not sure if I can find one this size that can fit exactly in there, but he did it with 2. And I guess that when the air comes out of there and comes out this on the other end of that white plastic part, then it's going to filter the air out before it reaches the evaporator. This thing was in here. I'm not sure what this thing is, but it goes in here. Right in there. Looks like it's some sort of heat sensor device, or maybe maybe this heats up and then you get the warm air. Not sure. But anyways, to remove the glove compartment, I had to take those screws off from here and there, which go there and somewhere in there. It was not easy to remove this. I had to remove a screw like this from the evaporator, the black part that goes up there. I had to do it with through there, actually through here, with a 12mm cube, and then that's the only bolt it has. Then the other are nuts, also 12mm size. Also, I noticed that this fits here, and it actually comes with these clamps, so it's easy to remove, and perhaps you can install a filter there, an air filter, and there's no need to remove this, cut it out. But I'm not sure how that's gonna seal up there, if it's gonna seal up good. And I'm not sure if it's a good idea to put the filter after the air comes in through the evaporator and it gets cold. So yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into that a little bit more. Also, I noticed that it's very dirty in there, if you can see. So I'm gonna have to blow some air and clean all that, because since it doesn't have any filter, all the stuff that comes out from the street through those vent flaps, which had the bad urethane tape, then it gets really dirty in there. Let's see. Well, it's just easier to look like through there. But yeah, really dirty. That needs to be blown out. I had to take off one of these nuts from there, down there. The bolt goes on the top, and that loosens up this thing, those two bolts. Don't remove these, because as you can see, it has the AC pipes, Freon, whatever, coming in through there, from there, and you don't want to jank that out, because it can break those pipes and then you're in big trouble. Then the other 3 nuts are from the plastic cover, which has one there, another one up there, and another one on that other side somewhere up there. It also helped removing some Phillips bolts that were in the bottom of the white cover, which splits it in half, and it makes it twist a little bit more flexible in order to squeeze it out, because I had to squeeze it out through here, through this space from here. If not, I guess you have to remove the whole dash, and that's crazy. Might not be easy to install, but we'll see. I'll make another video later. And yeah, that's about it. I had to remove a cover, plastic cover that goes in there, which is this one. And there's also this cover, which goes right down here, like that. That's super easy to remove. I also had to remove this cover that goes right here, like that. That's super easy to remove too, 3 screws. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to see if I can find out more information about installing the air filter here, which is better here or there. Maybe even install 2, get super extra filtering. And when I put everything back together, I'll make another video to see how hard that was. All right, so that's why the smells and smoke from the exterior come in through the air cabin when you have the setting on recycle, because those flaps lose their urethane tape, which is supposed to be spongy to let the moisture and water dry up, but also to seal properly and not let those smells come in the cabin like it was happening. Air filter is going to help a lot. There's also some of that spongy tape here, as you can see. This one's in better shape. It's not disintegrating when I touch it. Maybe I'll replace it too. This seal, which seals the white plastic cover into this here. I'll replace this and the tape that I showed you before with new urethane tape. All right. Also, one last thing, in that white plastic container thing, this fits inside there, and this is the motor that works when you turn on the AC, which connects through here. So let me show you. Sorry, it's hard to I'll just set it out right here real quick so that I can connect it so you can see. So this connects here like that, and then when you put the ignition on and turn on the fan, make sure the AC button is off, in the off position, like that, before you turn that on, this knob. So this is what's gonna happen when I turn on this knob to turn on the air. This thing starts spinning. I also had to clean this up because it was filthy. And if you put it in the max speed position, that's why your car makes a lot of noise. And it's a max speed. That's what sucks the air into the street or recycles the air. Turn that off there and turn off the ignition. So I'll just disconnect this thing while I keep on fixing. And yeah, that's all. But that's all for now, guys. Take care.